Most kitchens don't fail because of bad food. They fail because of invisible leaks. Tiny mistakes chefs repeat every day without even noticing. Here are the 5 biggest cost killers I see all the time. So, mistake number 1, and this is a huge one, is relying on your gut to price your dishes. Look, chefs are creative, I get it, but your intuition can't calculate things like trim loss, or how much a steak shrinks when you cook it, or those daily price hikes from your suppliers. When you don't know the true cost of a dish, you are flying completely blind. Let's just take your best-selling dish as an example. You do a quick mental calculation and you figure, yeah, the ingredients cost me about $5 a plate. Seems totally reasonable, right? So you set your menu price based on that. But here comes the reality check. When you actually account for everything, all the vegetable scraps you toss, the water weight that cooks out of the meat, that sudden jump in the price of cheese, that $5 dish, it's really costing you $7. That's a 40% miscalculation. And guess what? It's coming straight out of your pocket. Now, let's just do the math on that for a second. That $2 difference, it might not sound like a lot, but if you sell, say, 50 of those dishes a day, you're losing $100 every single day. That adds up to $3,000 a month. Gone. From just one dish on your menu. Now imagine that across your entire menu. The scale of this leak is just staggering. Oh man, this next one is so sneaky. You set your menu prices, and then, life happens, you get busy, but while you're grinding through service, your supplier costs are going up and down all the time. If your menu prices just stay the same, your profit margin gets thinner and thinner every single day. Here is a perfect example. Let's say you've priced your famous pasta sauce, assuming tomatoes cost you $2 a kilo, but then your supplier quietly raises the price to $3.50. Well, all of a sudden, your target food cost of 28% for that dish just jumped to 35%. You see that 7% wedge that just vanished on the chart? Yeah, that was your profit. It's gone. All because of one little price change you didn't keep up with. All right, now let's move from the paperwork into the pressure cooker itself, the kitchen floor. This is where the physical mistakes, the ones that happen in the heat of service, can create some massive, massive leaks in your profit. Mistake number 3 is overproduction. The fear of telling a customer we're out of that during a busy service is very real. So what do? We cook too much, just in case. But those extra trays of food, they almost always end up as staff meals or, even worse, in the bin. And that isn't just waste, it's you literally throwing money in the trash. And our 4th mistake, a lack of standardized recipes. Look, when every cook on the line adds their own little flair or just eyeballs their portions, you lose all control. Not just over consistency for the customer, but over your costs. A standardized recipe isn't about killing creativity, it's about guaranteeing that every single plate costs exactly what you think it does. Let's look at what this really means. So, Cook A, they follow the recipe. They use the standard 200 grams of salmon. Perfect. But Cook B, maybe they're feeling a bit generous that night. They plate 250 grams. Just like that, you've got a 25% cost increase on a single plate. It might seem small, but you multiply that by hundreds of plates a month, and you're going to be scratching your head wondering where all your money went. Okay, our 5th and final leak. This one often happens back in the office. It's when we treat purchasing like it's just some simple paperwork, instead of what it really is, a core financial strategy for the entire business. Really, this all comes down to a fundamental shift in mindset. The amateur orders just in case, tying up thousands of dollars in inventory that's just sitting there, maybe spoiling or getting lost in a cluttered stockroom. The pro, on the other hand, orders just in time, keeping inventory lean and keeping that cash in the bank. One is a total gamble, the other is a smart strategy. So, we've identified these 5 huge leaks, but fixing them isn't about being restrictive. It's actually the complete opposite. Gaining real control over your costs is what unlocks true creative and financial freedom in your kitchen. So how do we plug these leaks? Here it is. This is your 5-step battle plan. And you'll notice each step directly counters one of the mistakes we just talked about. You have to calculate the real cost of every dish. You've got to update your prices weekly to reflect what's actually happening. You need to cook based on real orders, not out of fear. Standardize every single recipe. And finally, purchase with a clear strategic plan. This is your roadmap. And this is why it all matters so much. Because when you plug these leaks, you stop stressing about your margins. You get the freedom to experiment with new dishes, you get the power to negotiate better prices with suppliers, and ultimately, you get the ability to run a kitchen that earns what you and your amazing team truly deserve. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Is your kitchen slowly bleeding out from these hidden leaks? Or is it a fortress of profitability, earning exactly what it's worth? If you want to stop leaking money in your kitchen, fix these 5 mistakes first. I built Kitchen Manager Pro specifically to solve these problems, because after 20 years, I got tired of watching money disappear. When you control cost, you gain freedom. Freedom to create better menus, to negotiate with suppliers like a pro, and to run a kitchen that actually earns what it deserves.